Hey guys, hope you're all having a good day. If you're new here, my name is Ross. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. Today, I'm going to be showing you a few things that you can do to kick your blues soloing into high gear a la Gary Moore, who was one of Ireland's finest rock and blues guitar players, famous for songs such as Parisian Walkways and Still Got the Blues, as well as his work with artists like Thin Lizzy and Albert King. It's no secret that Gary had incredible chops when it came to his intense, face-melting blues solos. The intro track that I just played over was a song called Oh Pretty Woman, and it actually features Albert King. So this is one of my favourite Gary Moore recordings because it's such a nice contrast between the sweet, but badass and laid-back blues licks that you hear played by Albert King versus the, intense, high gain, Les Paul into a Marshall, face-melting licks that are played by Gary Moore. So that solo that you heard me play over the intro track was roughly based on the sort of things that you would typically hear Gary play over tracks like that. And I'm going to break down a few of the main elements that make up Gary Moore's lead playing style so that you guys watching at home can take them and apply them to your own rock and blues solos. The first thing I want to talk about is the way he plays or phrases licks within the minor pentatonic scale, or the blues scale basically. It's different to what you hear from players like Joe Bonamassa and Eric Johnson. Both of those guys typically will alternate pick most of their faster pentatonic runs. Whereas with Gary Moore, it's more a case of really, really fast repeating sequences of hammer-ons and pull-offs, like in this lick, for example. So that what you just heard there was an example of a Gary Moore style blues lick using lots of hammer-ons and pull-offs. And just for your information, the note values that you see on the tab and the notation, those are rough guides because these kind of licks get played so fast that it kind of just sounds like a big flurry of notes in a good way, but it basically means that they're not necessarily following a particular rhythm. Now, there are a few notes at the start of the lick there that sound like a sort of pentatonic sequence. And that's something that Gary would also do a lot of, pentatonic sequences like this. Now that is quite a common pentatonic sequence of 6, but when it's played at the speed that Gary Moore plays it at, it does sound really quite cool. That was just in position 1 of the minor pentatonic scale, but of course you can apply those sequences to other positions of the minor pentatonic and blues scale as well. By the way, if you're watching this as someone who doesn't really have the best visual memory when it comes to scales and seeing them all over the fretboard, and you want to be able to easily visualize any scale, whether it's minor pentatonic, blues, major pentatonic, the major scale, if you want to be able to do that, then I recommend you check out the link in the description below. That's a 50% off coupon for my online course, Bulletproof Guitar Player. That's roughly £20 or $20 for about 4 hours worth of instructional guitar material that is designed to give you a solid understanding of fundamental music theory that can be applied to your guitar playing to make you a more confident player. Let's go back to that pentatonic sequence that we just looked at. One thing I want to point out about it is that you don't have to pick many of the notes at all. Again, Gary Moore used a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs in his playing, and you can hear that when he plays sequences of pentatonics like this. So I want you to listen to me play this slowly, or rather watch me play this slowly, and look at my picking hand, and look how little movement is going on there when compared to my fretting hand. You'll notice on the tab that I've actually typed pick above just 4 out of the 12 notes in that lick. So I want you to watch me play it again, this time slowly. Just focus on my picking hand and observe how little movement is going on there when compared to my fretting hand. One other very simple thing that actually sounds quite cool and that Gary would do as far as hammer-ons and pull-offs are concerned is he would take 2 notes on one string and just play trills with them, like this. So if you add all of those things together, you could come up with shreddy blues licks that sound like this. Now that does it as far as hammer-ons and pull-offs go, but there's one last thing that I want to show you that I think is cool about Gary Moore's playing, and what I'm referring to here is the big screaming bends that you would slide into like this. This is something that I personally love to do when I'm bending notes. Rather than just picking the note and bending it up, I'll actually slide in to the note that I'm about to bend. And that way it just sounds a bit more slick. And one more thing that you can do there once you've bent that note up is you can pick a double stop note on the next string across. For example, when you're on the high E string and you've bent a note up, you can grab the B string with the tip of your finger and strike it as well, which would sound like this. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lesson on the playing style of Gary Moore. Out of interest, what are your favourite Gary Moore solos? Leave comments below with your suggestions, I'd like to check them out. And if you have suggestions for future videos that you'd like to see on this channel in the future, please also leave a comment below and I'll take your suggestions on board. If you like this video guys, please give it a thumbs up below and click subscribe for more.